You know the names, you've seen the plays, but what about the stories behind the game? Welcome to Honorable Mentions with Tanner Morgan and Quinn Carroll, two teammates turned storytellers, breaking down life, film, and everything in between. From locker room laughs to real world lessons, nothing's off the record here. This is Honorable Mentions.
Morgan to throw, has time, lost one near side for Tyler Johnson. He has the catch at the 10, down the sideline, touchdown! What a play! He's got all the double, the one at the 10, turns it up 5, touchdown! Minnesota Golden Gophers!
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Honorable Mentions podcast. I'm Quinn Carroll with Tanner Morgan. It's been a while. I know I've been out of town. We had a couple other things come up, but now we got an elite guest for you. Lineman for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Danny Striggow. He's a three-time honorable mention, all Big Tenner. Three times. You cannot teach that. Big Ten Sportsmanship Award recipient, four-time academic All Big Ten, Hula Bowl participant, Senior Bowl participant, and a lot of people don't know this, but Minnesota State Wrestling Champion in 2019. Shout out Danny Striggow.
Pulling out the archives now.
Dan, thanks for joining us, brother.
I appreciate you guys having me on. I've been following along the podcast, was talking to some of your previous guests. One might be a trainer. I don't really know. I was with him right around when that episode came out, so got me a little fired up. Now we're here.
Yeah. I mean, when Quinn was reading off the intro, I mean, now you are obviously going into year 2 in the NFL, but three-time honorable mention, all Big Ten Sportsmanship Award, four-time academic All Big Ten. Tell me somebody who doesn't belong on the Honorable Mentions podcast. This is a guy, like, this is the kind of guy that we got to interview, Danny. We're fired up to have you. Quinn talked a little bit about your wrestling background. 2019 state champs. Tell us more, and I know it kind of even goes back into your family tree, and how has that kind of helped you as a football player overall?
It's helped me a lot. That's honestly in recruiting and, transitioning from college to the NFL. That's like probably one of the most common questions I get is how does that translate? And, did it help you? Vice versa. I was wrestling. I think I've surpassed my years of wrestling with years of football now, but for a while I hadn't. I started wrestling when I was, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years old. And both my older brothers wrestled. My dad wrestled in high school. I have uncles and cousins that were wrestlers and that were state champs. So it's a long line of wrestlers in my family. But yeah, wrestling absolutely helps you with football. And I think football absolutely helps you with wrestling. Wrestling, you body control, hand-eye coordination, and a whole bunch of other things. And then football at a young age just teaches you a little bit of violence and getting hit. You can't be scared of that. And that helps with wrestling. So I think they both go really, really well together. Now, obviously, I did the whole other circuit of sports when you're a toddler that you just kind of figure out what you like, and the baseballs and the soccers and all that. But those two definitely stuck. And grateful for them both, obviously, with where I am now. But wrestling was a big part of my childhood.
With that long line, that long lineage in your family of wrestlers, was it hard to choose football?
Yeah. I was actually in Ann Arbor, Michigan, on Michigan's campus, not on a visit or anything, but my brother was, he was there already because they both wrestled at Michigan. They're both graduated now, but I was there when I called Coach Fleck and said, "Hey, I think I'm going to play football." But it was a tough decision because I really wanted to go and wrestle with my brothers at the next level. I think that would have been more fun than I could have imagined. But I also wanted to kind of peel off. I felt like high school I was somewhat chasing their achievements. They both were state champions as well. So it was like, when we're older, someone's got to have bragging rights. And we all have our little piece. My oldest brother, Jackson, he was the first one to win it. And then Bob was the first one. He wanted his senior year, but he placed 3 times. He placed his sophomore, junior, and senior year. And then I won it my junior year, so I can say I won it first or at youngest. So we all kind of just go back and forth on which one of those is more impressive. But yeah, it was a tough decision, and I never regretted my decision. I missed wrestling for a long time. I don't as much anymore because I know I wouldn't be as good at it as I was when I was a freshman or sophomore in college. But
Sure.
yeah, that one's tough to kind of go off on my own route and not be able to stay by their side for a couple more years.
Would you say you were better at football, like in high school, than you were at wrestling, even though you were state champ?
No one's ever asked me that. Um, I think I had more potential as a football player. I think I was a good wrestler, but with the sport itself, like you can only go so high in wrestling, and now wrestling's growing at a very good rate. It's getting bigger and bigger, and there's more and more viewership, and there's more opportunities after NCAA. But in the years past, you get done with wrestling in college, and there's not a career in it really, unless you're like the top guy who has his own brand and is able to, create a club and start teaching the youth and all that. Whereas football, like you can go on and make a career out of it, and then eventually go on and have a career in something else. But I always said that my middle brother Bob was the best high school football player in our family. He ended up going on to Michigan and wrestling, but he was an elite linebacker. And
Really?
I always thought I had a great shot in college, but he was a great high school linebacker, and I'll stand by that. I will definitely stand by that.
That's
Stand
probably
10
a
toes
hard.
down to that.
That's probably a hard pill to swallow.
Not really. I
Right.
love Bucks. I got
Only
to play
one of
with
them
him.
still playing football. So
I got to play
Yeah.
with him my sophomore. He's 2 years older than me, so he was a Mike linebacker. I was a Will linebacker, and that was some of the most fun I ever had was playing next to him. But he flew around the field, and Jack was a great linebacker too. I didn't play defensive line until a couple games into my junior year. I was a linebacker before that, but those two were much better linebackers than I was. I was like a baby deer running around there. Hadn't filled into my body yet, and I was tall but not very thick, and just running around with super long arms. It helped, but
in due
Still
time,
booming
right? All
people.
things happen. That's
yeah,
right. I mean, I think of even a guy, who was kind of before you at Minnesota, Carter Coughlin, started as a freshman at the U, but really developed over his time, kind of grew into his body. Even a guy like Boye Mafe, who just won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks, 2 Minnesota guys, right? Then also Thomas Rush from Ohio, who all kind of were in the same room as you over time, and you learned a lot from them. And kind of a pretty cool legacy in that room for the University of Minnesota Gophers. Talk a little bit about your relationship with them and how that's helped you in your career.
Yeah. When I came in, I never played with Carter, but he was a big piece of how they wanted to develop me while at Minnesota. He was brought up a lot in recruiting as, hey, this is essentially who we want you to be and who we want you to be better than. Because obviously, that's what coaches are looking to do. They're obviously looking to find somebody that's better than the guy they already have, regardless of how good he is. And so looking at him and the way he played and what he went on to do, like that motivated me. Like, yeah, I want to be like him. And then once you get into that room and you've got Thomas and you've got Boye, who have very different skill sets, but were both very good at what they did. And I found myself, they both took me under their wing. I got to play with Thomas longer than I got to play with Boye, but they both taught me a lot about just how to learn the game, and just how to develop as a player. Me and Thomas thought very similarly, the way we just like diagnose installs and film and all that. And Thomas, I'm not saying I'm as smart as Thomas. Thomas is a genius. He got 36 on his ACT. Don't ever forget that.
Really? I didn't know that.
But
Boy
yeah,
wonder.
he's smart. Shout out Thomas Rush. And then Boye is just, freak athlete, still very smart, and obviously you see what he's done now. He's now a Super Bowl champion. Just signed a big deal in Cincinnati. Everything that he deserves, he's getting. But I got to learn from those two guys and take bits and pieces from both of them and turn, my career into what I kind of wanted it to be, just by learning from them, learning from their mistakes, seeing what they did when they were younger and how they grew into their role. And then when they're both gone, kind of adapting that role into my role so that I can pass it down to somebody else.
Yeah. I believe that like older players in the room developing the younger guys is like just as important as the coaches. And throughout your
Absolutely, yeah.
time at Minnesota, you had multiple coordinators, multiple position coaches.
Yeah.
Pretty much every year, coordinator was, a few years at a time, but just talk about how difficult that is to change coaches so often, basically changing what you hear every year, but still being able to produce on the field.
Yeah, it was interesting because on my official visit in 2019, the D-line coach that recruited me left for another job. And I remember that was on Saturday. Tanner still playing. You guys are in bowl prep, getting ready to take on the Auburn down south. And I remember getting a text or a call on Saturday night saying, "Hey, Coach Fleck wants to meet with you tomorrow morning early." It was like, I don't know, like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I had noticed that the D-line coach wasn't at practice when we went and watched the day before. I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." Whatever. Didn't think much of it. And he's like, "Hey, so, he's gone to take another job. Wish him the best of luck. But I can assure you, one, my job is to hire somebody that's better than him. That's going to teach you things that he could not. Not to say that he wasn't a great teacher, but it's just like the players where somebody leaves, we're going to find somebody better than we're going to develop somebody better than them. And two, you don't go to college and you don't go to a place because of the position coach, because position coaches are going to come and go much faster than the head guy. He's like, you're not committing to a coach, you're committing to the program. And I was like, yeah, coach, I'm not going anywhere. You don't have to worry about me. Like, I'm committed. I think that was just before signing day, maybe just after. It was a while ago. But I was like, you don't have to worry. Like, I'm bought in on the program. I'm not going to flake out. But then you get into college and, like you said, bunch of different coaches. I think I had three different D-line coaches once I was in college. And it's nice. It's tough sometimes because, you know, you get used to somebody and then all of a sudden they're up and gone and you're learning how somebody else coaches differently. But at the same time, it's not like they're reinventing the wheel. Like the first 4 years we're still under Coach Rossi, defensive coordinator. And so it wasn't like we were changing up the entire scheme. It was just somebody in the front of the room was teaching it just a little bit differently, putting their different spin on it. And I thought that kind of helped me as a player. I know for some that it can be somewhat difficult where you learn one thing and you come back and have to do a different thing. But for me, it was like, okay, I know how to play it that way with this coach. And now I'm getting a you know, different technique or a different way to go about something to where I can still pull bits and pieces from them to improve myself and to make myself a better player. But now I have a different perspective coming in and teaching me something new. And so I kind of saw it as an opportunity, one, to learn new things, and two, to lead the room, because as coaches leave and you got young guys coming in, 17, 18-year-old freshmen that are coming in, like they need somebody in the front of the room or somebody to lean to. Like you said, having older players in the room being able to teach you, they need somebody to lean to when maybe they don't understand something that the coach is saying. So just being a voice for them to the coaches, and two, just a resource. And then towards the end of my time at Minnesota, when Coach Heatherman comes in, I love the way that Coach Rossi coached, and I think that him and Coach Heatherman have a lot of similarities. But I love the way Coach Heatherman coached too. I love the fire he brought. You saw what he did down in Miami. The people love him down there, from what I can
Just
see.
signed a multi-year deal yesterday, I believe,
Did he
at
really?
Miami.
Oh, good for him.
That's awesome. And deserves everything that he's got coming to him. I was fired up. Obviously, it sucks that we couldn't keep him in Minneapolis, but I love seeing him have success. Like, that guy is one of the pieces that helped me get to where I am now. And so it's in a huge roundabout way. Like, I saw all those different coaches and different this and that as an opportunity to make myself a better player and to help the other guys in the room make themselves better players, just to help the team at the end of the day.
That's awesome. Let's rewind a little bit. You talked about how Coach Heatherman was a big piece in where you are today and helping you get where you are today. Who would you say was like made the biggest impact on you? Minnesota kid, big time wrestler. You couldn't really decide on which sport you were better than, but Minnesota kid coming in, a lot of development to be had. Who would you say had the biggest impact on you?
That's a big question. The obvious one that pops into mind is Coach Fleck, coming from the top. Just from a developmental standpoint, I mean, you go into college, you kind of have no idea what you're getting into. But he was one that had a plan for me, had a vision. Even like, if I didn't, like, obviously I had goals, but I didn't know how I was going to get there half the time. And he has the vision of where he can see you, and sitting down in his office, him saying, this is what we want you to be, and this is how we're going to get you there. Like, I don't have enough thanks in the world to throw his way for getting me to where I'm today. Do I think, is there an opportunity if I go somewhere else to be where I am today? Sure. Do I think it's as high of a chance? No. I was a kid that absolutely needed development coming out of college or coming out of high school. And I think there wasn't a better fit than the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, I think kids today need to hear that, because less kids, maybe in your shoes, feel like they're going to have the opportunity because of the portal, because of the way that the landscape is now. But it's encouraging to hear that there are programs out there that are still development focused first, Minnesota being one of those. And how maybe you're a high school kid or you're a high school coach, and you're looking at where to send your son or your player. I think Minnesota is a team that consistently will be about development. I think there's a lot of others out there, obviously, as well, but the development piece is so important, especially in today's age. You got to go where you're going to be developed. Very similar to what Max told us on the episode. You can go back and watch that one earlier about his time at the University of New Hampshire. Speaking of that, Danny, I want to talk about just your college career. Favorite memory or favorite play? Pick one. Maybe they're the same. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you had to pick a favorite memory or favorite play from your collegiate career, what would it be?
I'll go with two different ones. A favorite play, interception, Michigan State. My extended family is from Michigan. Got a lot of ties over there.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of family fans there, and we were kind of piling on. And I think I had 35 or 40 family members and friends up in the stands, and it was I believe it was right after Nick Callerup's first collegiate touchdown.
An amazing catch, by the way.
Amazing
Horrible
catch.
throw.
Good ball.
Horrendous throw. By
Good
the way.
ball.
Put it in a place where only receiver could get it.
Horrendous throw.
And then that next drive, I had an interception, and it was just kind of, really cool experience. The only interception I have the only interception I have in my college and NFL career. But that was an awesome play to have that happen in front of my family, and for that game to go the way it did, kind of, put us in line for where we were at the season, surprised a whole bunch of folks with how that game went. And then I think the favorite memory was beating Iowa at Kinnick. That you just can't put enough words to it. There's just a special feeling about beating them that I'll just leave
Totally
it at
agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that for sure. Offense didn't help the defense out a whole lot that day, but we got it done. 4 field
Special
goals.
shout out, Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 field goals.
Let's go.
That'll get it done.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Last time I checked, the win's still a win, boys.
Absolutely.
That's true. Very true.
Absolutely.
Those are some great memes. Let's fast forward to after your Gopher career. Because from our perspective, watching you go through the pre-draft process, we knew how gritty you were as a player, but you got to show that in front of, the entire league. So take us through that process. Let's start with the phone call you got at 11 p.m. a little over a year ago.
Talking about the Senior Bowl, already played in the Hula Bowl, kind of went
Yeah,
viral.
that was a
on X.
crazy turnaround there. So yeah, me and Quinn were at the Hula Bowl, have a good time down there in Orlando. Also, that was news to me that the Hula Bowl is no longer in Hawaii. That was kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Got the
Hula
invite. You're
Bowl,
like,
huh?
let's go.
Oh, it's in Orlando. Okay, that's cool too. That was a fun experience though, being down there with you and Dragon and getting to go through all that and having an opportunity to play in some postseason stuff between that and the draft. That was pretty cool, and thanks to them for having us. But yeah, go back and you get into combine training and pro day training, and I'm thinking, okay, I wasn't going to the combine. Pro day was in March, so I got, a couple months to really get going here. And we were like a week and a half in, and it was like, I want to say it was Wednesday night. Getting ready for bed, literally getting into bed, and I get a call from my agent. I'm like, this is a weird time for him to call. Like, all right, something's up. And he was down at the Senior Bowl, and he's like, hey, you want to play in the Senior Bowl? And I was like, what? Like that, it's already started. Like the game is in 3 days. And he's like, yeah, Jim Nagy was still running at that point. I know he's moved on to bigger and better things. And he's like, yeah, Jim said a couple of guys have backed out and they need some bodies down here. And he saw me and thought of you. And I was like, well, all right, how does this work? He's like, you want to do it? I'm like, yeah, let's go. He's like, all right, let me give your number to Jim and he'll get it started. And so he hung up, and I'm like, I went into my parents' room and I was like, yeah, going to the Senior Bowl tomorrow morning. They're like, oh, okay, where's that? Alabama. All right, sweet. And so Jim calls me like 20 minutes later. He's like, hey, we're fired up to get you down here. We're getting your flights booked right now. Here's what we need, yada, yada, yada. So they got me booked out at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning the next day. Scrapped together some stuff. He's like, what do you got? And I'm like, I got cleats and a helmet. He's like, all right, we'll have you covered on everything else. I was like, all right, sweet. So hop on a plane, head down there. I think I had a connection. I don't remember where that was, but I had a connection. Get in at like little afternoon. Practice has already started. They're all getting going, walk in, and we pull into the parking lot and I see the camera there. I'm like, oh, something must be going on. And then I get out of the car and it was on me. And I'm like, oh, all right, hey, fellas. And I didn't realize at the time that they were making a video out of it to post later, which is pretty cool to see. But go in, they do the physical and everything, get me cleared to play, get me some random shoulder pads and everything else that I didn't have. And then the video takes over and it's me going out on the field and they're already in one-on-ones. And I'm like, all right, well, if we're going to go right into one-on-ones, we should get warmed up first. That's the big one to jump. Right. So they got me warmed up. Taped myself up. Shout out Joe, taught me how to do that in 5 years at the University of Minnesota. And then it was right to team. And I was like, oh, okay. So we're in the thick of it now.
And you're being interviewed on the field while being taped,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, you gonna hop in here for rep? And I'm like, I think I gotta warm up first at the very minimum. Yeah, sweet. And we get done warming up. They go right to team, and the coach is like, hey, you play 3 technique? And I was like, no. He's like, can you? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, all right, next play, go out there at 3 tech. And I'm like, all right, sweet. And then made a couple plays. I played a couple snaps off the edge, mostly inside. Made a couple plays and wrapped up practice. And then I got to take a little bit of a deep breath. I was like, all right, this was a long day. Let's go get our bearings back. But that was an awesome opportunity. I thank Jim and my agent for just even thinking of me for that. I think that helped me tremendously um, before the draft. Just showcasing,
Mhm.
I just want an opportunity. I'm
How
gonna,
do you
I'm
how do
gonna
you how do you think that propelled you to really take advantage of the best UDFA opportunity, which ended up being in Jacksonville there? How did that whole situation prepare you, maybe put you on the map a little bit more, right, from a player perspective, but also like just be that adaptable to go with wherever the opportunity went and make the most of it?
yeah, I think I can't say for certain, um, but I think that when it got to the end of the draft and things are starting to wind down, people are starting to say who do we want here. I hope that they saw my name and were like, oh, that was the kid from the Senior Bowl that showed up late, and whatever they may think of that, I think it was nothing but beneficial for me. Um, could I have played better? Absolutely. There's always room for improvement. But I think I'm hoping that they saw that and were like, I think this kid will take advantage of an opportunity. Uh, and I hope that's what, I love our staff down here in Jacksonville. I love what we're doing down here. And hopefully that's what they think of me. I don't know that for sure, but all I can do is put stuff on tape that confirms it. So
It's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, they can watch as much film as they want or talk to you as much as they want, but when they see that scenario come up and you're like, hell yeah, let's go on a flight 6 hours later just for the opportunity. I mean, that shows so much grit and resilience to just you're looking for any opportunity. This is your dream and you're gonna fulfill it. So that was awesome for us to see. And I know you get asked that everywhere you go, but we had to touch on it, and I'm glad you
no,
went in
that's
deep there.
yeah.
What do you think? What do you think allowed you to kind of separate yourself once you were in the door in Jacksonville? Like so many guys competing for an active roster spot. What was it that separated you?
Yeah, I think and going in, I think being at training house and having them put so many people in front of us of excuse me, hey, this is going to be a long year. Like this is the longest job interview of your life and probably the most important. And teams at the end of the day, this is a business and teams are looking for any reason to get rid of you or find somebody better.
Yeah.
It's harsh, but it's reality. There's so much going on in the league that's just how it is. And I think once you get, you sign with a team, you're like, all right, how can I make myself as valuable as possible to them so that they don't want to get rid of me? They can't get rid of me. And that's been my mindset is, there's an opportunity that pops up, take it. Like learn to do something new, learn to do this, learn to do that, add as much value as you can so that they say, well, if they're looking at getting rid of somebody like, oh, we can't get rid of this guy because of this, that, and the other. I think for me, it's special teams. Like that was my body type, my position. You go into your scout meetings and pre-draft meetings and all that. They're like, hey, how do you feel about special teams? And it was awesome to be able to say, well, I played however many years of it at Minnesota. I've played
Mhm.
on every special team. I even played on field goal my freshman or sophomore year because I was John Michael's backup and we were winning by a lot and they took him out. And I went and played tight end on field goal, which is the worst position in football. I got put on my butt like 3 or 4 times. They didn't block the kick though, so we're all right.
Die
There
a
we
slow
go.
death.
It die a slow death. But being able to say, hey, I've played, kickoff, kick return, punt return. I've been on field goal block. I've been on field goal. You know, believe it or not, I was on Hand's team. That's a calling card. That might go on my resume when I'm done playing ball. But to be able to say, hey, like I've done it and I'm excited to keep doing it. Like I'm gonna earn my spot. I want to earn my time on defense, but I also know like there's not a lot of spots. There's 48 jerseys on game day. There's 53 that make the roster. You got to find a way to add value to the team. And that was my mindset coming in. Like, hey, I want to be the best defensive end that I can be. But I also know that if I want to get a jersey, I got to do more than just that. We've got guys that are much better pass rushers and have been in the league a lot longer than me that are out there. I need to add value so that I can, one, help them, help the defense, help the team, but also help on special teams and be able to add value there, whether it was on punt or, kickoff, kick return, punt return. And so I think for guys that are in the position that I was in last year at the beginning of the year where you're going through that, have the most open mind you can possibly have about special teams, because if your body type fits it, they're going to want you to do it. And if you can do it and you're good at it, there are guys that are career special teamers that have played in the league for a very, very long time just because they are lights out on special teams. And
Matthew Slater.
There you go, right there. You can make an amazing career in the NFL, even if your primary position in college was something else. If you're a lights out special teams player, those are hard to find. Every team's got one or two guys that are like that, where they are like, if you have a question, you're not around the special teams coordinator or the coaches, and you got a question, you can go to that guy, and it's just like talking to the special teams coach. So being able to do that, as well as adding value in your respective position, I think is gonna allow you to have an extensive career. Now, I'm still working on that. I'm not over here saying that I'm that guy on special teams. I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy on defense. I got a ways to go before I'm that guy. I'm still learning every day, just like I hope everybody else on the team is. But that's what I aspire to be and play as long as I want to play in this league by doing that.
And to that point, Liam Cohn, the head coach, said that you are the epitome of the team by competing on special teams and earning the right to make plays on defense, which is such a cool quote that he would say that about you and another free agent in your same position group. But for you guys to come in and earn your stripes on special teams is just just speaks to the type of player you are, type of person you are. So where would you say that mentality was instilled in you to show up and like not be too good for special teams and, understand that you're going to earn your stripes that way, earn your time on the field as a DN versus a special teamer?
Yeah, that when I came into college, my first snaps, I will never forget the first snaps, Purdue, 2020, special teams, kickoff return, double team. It was awesome. I remember the weeks leading up to that game, or the week leading up to that game. It was me and Lucas Fennessy, and the special teams coordinator said, "Hey, got one spot open up on kick return. One of you two is going to fill it." So that was back when we still were moving on special teams in practice.
Mm-hmm.
And like, all right, sweet. We didn't look at each other any different. Like, all right, let's go do this. Like, this is awesome. We're getting an opportunity. We both went out, had really good reps. Did our job, did a good job. And then he texted us later that day and was like, "All right, screw it. You're both on." And we were like, that's one of the most ever been. We were sitting next to each other, and he's like, "Screw it. You guys are both on kick return this week." And we like got up, dapped each other up, like hugged, whatever. Like, all right, sweet. Like, I'll never forget that. And then going from there, playing in that game, earning a little bit more of a role on special teams, working from a one-phase guy to a two-phase guy. There are certain points where I was a four-core guy, just playing special teams. And that's how I earned my role at Minnesota. Like, I wasn't gifted anything to play on defense. I firmly believe that I played on special teams, and and earned an opportunity. And my mindset is don't waste an opportunity because you might not get it again. And that reigns more and more through the further along I've gone. But I tried to go in to the NFL with the same mindset that I went into college with was you have to earn everything. If I was good enough to go out there and start right now, I would have been drafted in the first round. I was not. Go out there and earn every single snap, earn every rep. If you're a practice squad, earn every practice rep. Whatever the future holds for me, just go out and earn everything and take advantage of the opportunities you're given.
That's great. You talked about special teams, that Purdue 2020 moment. Great game, Josh Ani interception.
On the interception. Yeah.
Tell us though about your welcome to the NFL moment. I know you just kind of highlighted college football, your first time playing in special teams, and how that led to how your career in the NFL has started so far. But what was your welcome to the league moment?
I've actually thought about this because I knew that somebody would ask at some point, and I don't think there wasn't necessarily a moment where I was like, eyes got wide, oh boy. There's a couple moments where we're here. Like, this is it. I remember my first snap of preseason last year, first NFL snap, kickoff return. Again, shout out kickoff return, shout out special teams. I remember getting out there and like you're on the sideline, you're in the stands, like pretty loud in there. First games of the NFL season, everyone's ready to get going. And you go out on the field, everything gets a little bit quieter. And I remember like heart rate picking up. I'm like, oh, like looked around for a second before the ref blew the whistle. I'm like, holy shit. All right, we're here. And I remember I know for a fact, you turn on the tape, was not a great block on that one. Hand up accountability, that one's on me. But after that, like I was like, that was the moment where I was like, oh wow, like we're really here. And then there's a couple other moments after that where it's like, you have your first tackle, and I had my first sack, had my first sack, and those were just cool experiences. I will say, every hit, you feel them. It's not you think you feel the hits, and then get to the NFL, and you're like, oh, these guys are good. They're big. Running backs are big. Quarterbacks are big. But offensive linemen are still big. But it was just a bunch of, little moments along the way that were like, wow, we're really here. Don't mess it up. So not necessarily like a big revealing, like welcome, but it was a bunch of little moments along the way.
Did you have a moment this year that was your favorite memory? Like a big win, or I know you had a strip sack, which was sweet.
That was cool.
But what would you count as your favorite memory of your rookie year?
Oh, I will say the one. So I was inactive for the first 5 games. So I was on the roster, didn't have a jersey on game day. So you're just street clothes on the sideline. That Monday night game against Kansas City was one of the coolest football atmospheres I've ever been a part of. Like all of Duval out there on a Monday night, just absolutely rocking the stadium. And then Devin Lloyd having a 99-yard pick six on Patrick Mahomes where he's running down our side. Like that is one of the coolest sports, not even just sports, one of the coolest things I've ever experienced in my life. Just like you could feel the cheers and everything, like the noise, you could feel it all through your body. It was the most craziest and surreal experiences. Like that was like Monday Night Football. We win the game. Duval's rocking. We got the best fans out here. I mean, everyone lives and breathes the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's fun to be around. But that was an unbelievable experience.
As an electric game. Can you tell us a little bit about? You mentioned phenomenal play. We're looking forward to watching phenomenal plays from the Gophers this upcoming year. Is there anybody that you're really excited about for this upcoming season for the Minnesota Golden Gophers?
Kind of a homer pick. Carter Metz.
I knew it.
Love it, though. I
Yeah.
love it.
Now I love everybody in that room. I love Jackson Howard. Of the guys I still know, they're starting to phase out towards some guys that I never played with, and it's kind of freaking me out. But
Crazy.
when I saw Carter hitting his strides last year, and I'm alone. It's like we're in the hotel on a Saturday night, and I'm alone watching the Minnesota game, yelling at my TV, cheering for the Gophers and for Carter Metz because he's racking up sacks like it's nobody's
Let's go.
Yeah,
And he's
seriously.
tough in the run game, and it's making me super happy.
It's got to keep the tradition going. They've got a great defensive line. I mean, when you look at obviously Carter, Jackson, and you lose Devin Eastern, and that's a loss. But the multiplicity they'll be able to have is exciting. I'm excited for the spring game coming up here in just a little bit. I'll be on the call for that one. So excited to see all the guys.
You tuned in?
Let's go.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be amazing. You know who's the sideline reporter for the spring game? The one and only Tommy Olson. K-Fans Tommy Olson will be the sideline reporter. So
You know what?
I gotta believe. Listen, I'm not leaking anything. I don't know. I found that out like an hour ago. I gotta believe Tommy's gonna have some electric sideline interviews on a spring game because I feel like we're gonna be using Tommy a lot with the spring game. So be tuned in for Tommy O and the spring game coming up here, boys.
I was on the fence, but now that I know who's going to be talking to me through the TV,
Right. Now I'm just excited to look at Drake Lindsay probably go 2 drives, go 2 tutties. He might not even go 2. Who knows?
routine.
Who knows? Quinn, do you want to tell us a little bit about, unless I'm jumping ahead, Danny's a listener. He doesn't need to explain.
Yeah, he's a
the
friend
honor
of the
roll.
pod.
Should we get into it? Should we get into our honor roll? Because I think we might have a longer one here. Because Danny came prepared from what I'm hearing.
We can get into it. I
listening.
have a funny story about. I do have a funny story about Carter Metz though. Before we get into the honor roll,
Yeah, send it.
So his first couple of years in Minnesota, he was on scout team, and so he's going against me pretty much every day. Wednesday, third down, pass rush day. The kid is slippery, okay, and like I remember having conversations with Danny. I'm like, Carter's gonna be good. Like he's not easy to block. He's not, some bad scout teamer. Like he's making us better, myself and Ariante. So I was telling Danny that, and he was like, yeah, I know that. And then like the next day, he hit me with a nasty spin move inside and beat me clean. Like clean.
Hey, man.
Right in Max's lap. And I turn around and Callie is fuming. He's fuming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Callie, he's really good. He's a really good player. Like, give me a break here.
I swear.
So,
I swear he's good.
I'm going off of that. We're going to keep shouting out Carter Metz.
Go.
I remember it might have been scout team, might have been like a run period, but Coop came off the field.
Oh, yeah.
He's like dazed and confused. Like, Coop, what are you doing? And he's like, dude, I just had to kick out Carter Metz. And now Carter came into college, wasn't the biggest of guys. He's getting there.
Yeah.
He's like, that kid, it's like a truck. He's like, I just came with a full head of steam, a pulling guard to kick him out and got stonewalled. I was like,
he was like 240 at the time. He sprained his AC joint like for the entire year because of that play. Carter Metz. Such an animal. I'm so excited to see where he goes this year too. But we can get into the honor roll. So Dan, you know what it's all about. Shout out anything you want. Can be football related or not. But Tanner, do you want to start? Let's switch it up. You start. Give your 2 because you always have 2. And then I'll go.
That's right.
Danny
Always
finish.
Always 2. Number 1. This is going to be kind of Definitely a dad pick. I'm going with the brand. And, we don't have a sponsorship. We've had some conversations with people, right? And put it out there. And before I go any further, please like, follow, subscribe. It really
Please.
helps us out here, helps us out what we're doing with the Honorable Mentions podcast. But the brand Kirkland, Costco's finest. I mean, you're looking at pizza, the Kirkland pizza is not bad. Recently, this last week, I picked up some energy drinks they've got, some basically Celsius knockoffs. And I'm going to tell you, not a bad drink. So I know that's a very kind of like a dad pick, but Kirkland brand items in general, I'll be honest, boys, they're up there.
Kind of
Especially
milligrams
as
we
it's
working
getting
with?
warmer. I think it's 200 milligrams.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it's
that'll do.
same as a Celsius, right? Same can level, right? And, we thrive off of caffeine here at the HM pod. We're caffeine boys. So that product got me really thinking about how thankful I am for Kirkland. The second product, listen, I love playing Pro V1 golf balls, but first round of the year, the Kirkland golf balls, man, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. I feel like I play better with them. That's not a golf enthusiast thing, but I like the Kirkland golf balls. Get to the green, drop the Pro V down, especially for the first round, because you feel like you don't want to lose the Pro Vs, right?
I would be lying if I said I hadn't done that before.
So and then you get a bunch of balls, good price, and they're quality golf balls. So Kirkland overall, you're doing a great job. That's my number one honor roll. Number two, kind of already hinted at it, but spring games. Spring games are coming back, right? I really think so. With the difference in the portal, spring games are coming back, and I really want to highlight April 25th, the University of Minnesota Golden Gopher spring game. Be there at Huntington Bank Stadium. It's going to be electric. Like I said, I'll be on the call with Tommy Olson and others. I'm blanking on who the play-by-play guy is right now. I don't think I read that part in the email. I was so excited that Tommy and I were going to get to work together on it. But I'm just telling you, I think spring games in general are good for college football. So if you're a Minnesota fan, get out to Huntington Bank Stadium. I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful April 25th day, nice and sunny. I'm sure they got autographs or something going on after. Go check out your team. Spring games are a vital part of college football. So I think spring games are back, and even more so if you're in Minnesota, and this isn't just a Minnesota pod, but go to the game. My honor rolls are over. Danny, Striggow, take us away.
I can do that. Just a quick note. When I golf with Pro V1s, I don't care if I've peered 3 shots in a row. I don't care how I'm playing. The second I drop a Pro V1 off on the tee box, it is gone within 2 shots. No water on the course, it'll find it. There's a magnet, I swear.
It's a thing.
magnet.
I don't know if the pressure gets to me. Clearly it does. It's just yelling at me like you're not good enough to hit me. But you know what? I digress. I'm taking a play out of Tanner's book. I have 2. I can. First one, brief, but mine are both travel related. I've been doing a little bit of travel. Florida and Minnesota are not close. I've driven, I've flown. Not close. First
Hold on,
one.
you drove from Florida to Minnesota?
Yeah.
Multiple
If I'm
times.
going to be home. If I'm going to be home for a little while, I drive.
Danny, are you or are you not in the NFL?
Yet.
There's this thing called shipping your car. I don't know. I mean, but you know what? That shows me even more so. You're an honorable mention guy, and we respect the grind.
Through
Through and through.
From Florida to Minnesota. Sorry, I mean we got to highlight that on the
It's
podcast.
a 2-day trip. It's not bad. If I'm going from Minnesota to Florida, I stop in Nashville, stay the night. I don't do anything in Nashville. People are like, "Oh, that's a fun time." Like, no, I literally show up to the hotel, sleep, and leave. I do 12 hours the first day, and then the last 9 or so on the second day. If I'm going from Florida to Minnesota, I stop in Southern Illinois, Mount Vernon. That's about 12 hours. Finish the other 9. It's a boring drive. If you've never driven Illinois north to south or south to north, don't do it. It's not fun.
Not fun. You're a football guy.
Flat,
I
there's
love
nothing to look at, and it's like 6 hours worth of it. So, but windshield time, podcasts, call your friends.
Honorable mentions podcast for sure.
Yeah,
honorable
absolutely,
no doubt.
But first honorable mention: road trip rest stops. You don't want to get off. You don't want to get off at big city. Spend time getting on and off the highway. You're fighting the clock. I know everybody that drives longer than an hour. You're like, how how low can we get this ETA down to? You pull off on the rest stop. They're usually in some good places, whether it's woods or, you drive through Tennessee and there's one that's like in the middle of a lake. You go on a bridge, there's a rest stop in the middle, and you go on another bridge to get off. It's like right in the middle of the highway. Great stop. You're going Florida in the middle of the woods. There's bear crossing signs on the highway. You hop off, you're like looking for bear. Haven't seen one yet. Only done the drive a couple times. But you just hop out, stretch the legs a little bit, go to the bathroom, throw some garbage away from whatever you're snacking on, whatever you're drinking, whether it's Celsius, Kirkland maybe, or a Bang if you're looking for
White
a little bit more.
Monster.
300, those 300 millis. White
Monsters.
Monster's got to be top tier road trip drink.
It
Gosh,
has to be the big one with
Yeah.
the twist off.
twisty. Oh Lord,
Yeah, that's my first one. There's just nothing like a good rest stop.
great pick. Great
Second
pick.
one, let me paint the picture. You book a flight in economy. I'm a road trip guy. I'm booking economy. You get to the back of the plane. You sit down in your aisle seat, your window seat. There's somebody, whatever. I'm an aisle guy. There's somebody in the window seat. Middle seat's open. You don't say anything. You might glance at the guy in the window. Just, you both know what's going on. You're watching everybody get on the plane. You look at him again. You don't say anything. You can't say anything. You're just waiting for that call from the flight attendant that says, boarding is complete. We've now closed the door. You've got a middle seat open. That's a victory on the day. You could do anything else that day, and you won because you
Fire
have
up,
an
Won the
open
day.
middle seat on it.
Fire up, Danny. Man, that honestly might be the best honor roll we've had.
We've said that a
I
few
had
times,
that.
but that was far and away. Like,
Oh,
You-
I have. I really have said that a lot, but you definitely put some thought into it, and that I respect and love.
It
So
is a
you now are
winning
the top.
feeling. You did absolutely nothing but book a ticket. You got on the plane, and the man upstairs said, "You know what? This guy deserves an open middle seat. He can move his knee over a little bit. You got an extra tray table. You got a little bit more storage. You won."
When we should start ranking guest honor rolls, and
Yeah.
I really think we should make that a post here pretty soon. But Danny, I think
I
you're
mean,
number
like,
one. That was elite.
The two picks were great, but the delivery, like, Dan,
Oh
in
my
15
gosh.
years when you're done
So
with the
good.
NFL, do you have a future in TV? That was
Really
incredible.
do. That was unreal. Unreal.
Thank you.
To add on that, though, the worst is when you're sitting in the aisle and you have an open middle seat and you think boarding closed.
Mm.
You haven't gotten the call
That's
yet
why you
from the
can't say
pilot.
anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can't jinx it. And then you see a guy looking like me walking down the aisle. He's about to take that middle seat.
You just know. You might be
Yeah.
in row 33, and he's walking
Yeah, you
past
see him.
us, and you just know he's going to sit down right next to you. And he does. And that's honorable mention right there. When somebody
That's
sits in the
honorable
middle seat,
mention,
or
hands down.
when the person sitting in the window says, "Hey, we might have an open middle seat," because then you know someone's sitting there. You don't say it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good point.
Agreed.
All right, moving on. I'll give you two. I don't think I've ever given two, but these kind of went hand in hand this weekend. My first one is the Masters. It is my favorite,
Noted.
one of my favorite weekends of the year. You wish that you could just sit on the couch all weekend and watch every second of the Masters. Never happens that way. But you keep track on your phone as best you can. You're cheering for who you're cheering for. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Whoever wins the Masters is on top of the world at that moment, even if it's Rory who won it just a year ago. So that is my favorite. That's my honor roll, my first one. Kicks off the majors. Everybody's fired up. I love that there are no phones at the Masters. I love that tradition.
Love that. Love.
Just people soaking it in, people spending $3,000 at the pro shop. I can't wait to go someday. That'll be the best day ever.
Pro shop.
Yeah. You just got to budget
Yeah.
for it. Take out a loan,
Be
whatever you
Quinn.
need to
That'll
do.
be $3,000 will be Quinn's hat budget.
Literally. I would
Not a bad use of your money.
Yeah.
No, I would buy every hat that I thought was cool. My second one is Danny and I, we all are kind of in this phase here where our friends are getting married. I was at a wedding this past weekend watching one of our close buddies get married. Had some rain falling in the eyes, people getting emotional.
Raining
A lot of great
eyes.
speeches, watching the beautiful bride walk down the aisle. It's awesome. And, just honored to be there. And, I love watching my boys get married. I can't wait for more to come.
Top tier. Good.
But yeah, that's my second
Feeling
honor roll. Really hard to follow
Great.
up Dan there. Really tough. You threw
Hold
a
on.
wrench in
I'm
everything.
gonna pivot here.
could've
That
used
was
both of
Quinn. That
those
was great. Quinn, yours was
as
great.
honor rolls.
Thank
But
you,
I'm
guys.
getting
Thank you.
I'm getting a feel here where we need to kind of quickly fire off one here.
Mhm.
Honor roll in honor of us each all picking top two road trip drinks.
Mm.
Car ride, road trips, 6 hours plus.
Who's going
All right.
first? Tanner, you going first?
I'll start. Okay. Number one.
Are we going snacks too, or just drinks?
Nah, just drinks. We got to save snacks for a different episode. We got to save snacks for different. We'll have Danny come back on. Danny will be our road trip expert as we get people ready for road tripping to football games this fall, and give us kind of some expert advice on how to road trip for a Saturday in the fall for your favorite team. But I think that you got to start the day. Road trips got to start in the morning, in my opinion. Those are the best times to travel, early in the morning, 4 a.m., early riser. It starts with a nice hot cup of coffee from whoever is your favorite coffee provider, unless we don't have a sponsor at that point. I'm just kidding. but a nice cup of coffee. If it's cold, if it's a really hot day, a nice cold brew, right? So, but it's coffee related to start. Something you can sip on. It's good. It lasts, for hours. You're good. You're not going to chug it and then have to pee an hour into the car ride. That's brutal. My second one would be the one and only. Right now, this is very interesting. This is just kind of where I'm at. Like a rainstorm. So the smaller ones, orange, really good. Really good. My C tier, number 3, got to be a DC or Coke Zero. Has to be.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, you're not trying to get the 200 millis, but you need the 65, 75 milligrams. Fountain, McDonald's if you're even really feeling yourself.
My.
Yeah.
Those are good picks. I'm with you on that. See, I like where you went with the coffee guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm getting behind the wheel, staring at the backside of a windshield for 6, I need more caffeine than that.
I respect it.
I'm going straight to the rain and bang aisle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking me up either a Star Blast or a Black Cherry Vanilla, and it's getting popped within the first, I'll give myself 20 minutes, enjoy the road, and then I'm popping that thing. I'm wired, dialed, firing up some music. The second one, that's what gets me, because if it's over 6 hours, I'm probably going back to the caffeine.
Right.
Let's be honest. 6 hours right at that line where it's like, do I want, a Gatorade, trying to stay hydrated. I don't know what you're traveling for. If you got to do something when you get there, maybe some kind of tea. You could go that direction. I do like the DC pick though, because you're driving 6 hours. You're probably going to stop for food. And if I'm going to stop for food,
True.
I'm going a fountain Diet Coke, Diet Diesel down the go.
Diet Diesel. Good pick. Good.
Cigarette in a can.
Yeah, just a
Fridge
fridge stick right down the gullet.
Sig, that's right.
Yeah. It's a good pick. Good pick. Quinn,
Those
what
are
do you
great.
got for us?
I mentioned it earlier, but I'm a White Monster guy through and through.
Yep. You and
I
Pat
mean,
Coogan.
Like
Can't knock it.
2-3 times a week, probably. And so if I'm on a road trip, so we mentioned the big one with the twist off. They've got the regular 12-ounce can, but then they have the 20-ounce, a little bit taller can. So if I'm getting the big one, that's a long ass trip. So I go for the bigger one, bigger than usual one. And I'm popping that right away. I'm not enjoying the road. I'm not not waiting to put the tunes on. I mean, tunes are on
Grab it.
already. I pop that thing right away, and I'm rolling.
Enjoy the road when the monster's gone.
Valid.
Yeah,
It's fair.
and this goes hand in hand with coffee and any sort of energy drink. Is like you get that kind of feeling where it's like either too sugary from the energy drink, or like you get too much coffee, taste in your mouth, and it kind of tastes like shit. So I just like a good water.
That's such a good pick.
I'm kind of weird. I'm kind of weird. Like there are certain waters that taste better.
Hands
and some
down.
people disagree
Anybody
with me
who
there.
says that's not true is a liar.
Some people disagree, but like a Dasani compared to like an
Trash.
Ice Mountain or my favorite, Essentia water. Ever had one of those?
Yeah.
That is my favorite. And they make big dogs of that, like 32 ouncer sitting in the fridge. So always grab one of those. Sometimes there's like a, buy two, get the third free kind of deal. And I just stock up, but, some sort of energy drink, usually a White Monster, and then a good water, not a Dasani, unless Dasani wants to sponsor us. Usually an Essential water.
I think they all taste different. I'll still drink them all. I have no issue. I'll drink
You gotta hydrate.
I'll drink hose
Dasani's
water.
Dasani's a great
hose growing up. That might be controversial.
I would rather drink hose water than Dasani water. 10 out of 10 times.
That's a good point, Tanner. I'm not drinking a Dasani.
Not kidding.
I'll drink Dasani.
Dasani's for electrolytes.
Dasani, you want to sponsor me? I'm your guy. I will go to war for Dasani. I think they all taste different. I'm not going to nitpick. I'll just grab whatever one's there and drink it. I'll drink sink water, tap water.
Spoken like a man who drives from Florida to Minnesota.
You know where I fill up my water bottle?
The rest stop.
The rest stop.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a
water
true
fountain
grinder.
that's dripping like barely.
Yeah. Drip, 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 drip. Sits there and waits the whole time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to whatever episode this is. Quinn can tell you. We would really like it if you liked,
13.
followed, and subscribed. Episode 13 with the one and only episode of Danny Striggow. Danny, thank you for being on here. It's really weird for me to say your name and not say Striggow, because I'm so used to saying that for so many years.
That up myself.
Danny, thank you for being a guest on the pod. We will have you come back not once or twice, but multiple times. And you are now our road trip expert because of what you shared on this podcast. Now the top leaderboard for honor rolls. We got to see where the 2 and 3 rank. I don't know. John Michael might have a chance. Pat Coogan's was pretty good too. But
Coogan's
anyway, Pat Coogan's was up there. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this episode. Stay tuned for more episodes coming soon. Follow, subscribe, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Dan.